I think the benefit of using comedy as a medium to communicate ideas like racial politics and stuff is you sneak in the information under the guise of a punchline. My name is Sami Shah, and I am a comedian, writer, and broadcaster. I came to Australia in 2012. I migrated here from Karachi, Pakistan. And I can now honestly, truthfully say, I wish I had migrated to New Zealand instead. I really made a bad choice. I love making fun. I love making that joke because it is so offensive to Australians that an immigrant would come in and then be ungrateful about where he is. It is shocking whenever it happens. I love the response. I get asked that a lot. Why am I criticizing Australia? I only criticize because I love the place and I want it to be even better, more fair, more equal, all of those things. And if someone gets hurt or offended by the criticism, they have to ask themselves why. Do they feel like they own Australia? Are they Australia itself? No. Why is nationalism a thing that's preventing you from asking for improvements? You tell someone you're an immigrant, and in the first few years, they will always come up to you. And it's usually a white guy at a party after a few drinks. And he will always ask you the same question. How do you like Australia, mate? I think there's a certain aggression in that, which is, I'm asking you how you like Australia, but I will only tolerate one answer. And the answer is, God, I love it. He was like, how do you like Australia, mate? And I was like, it's a little racist. No, don't say that. Don't. Because right away, I got hit with, but if you don't like it, go back where you came from. And I had to tell him, because there were suicide bombers there. That is way worse. They're racist here. At least the racists don't explode. I'm grateful. So it's not an honest question, and you're not interested in an honest answer. Because an honest answer would be, it's amazing, but there are some things that are problematic, and let's work on fixing those so it can be even better. If you say that they're racist, right away you get hit with, mate, I grew here, you flew here. Right? The idea being that if you were born in Australia, you are allowed to say anything. But if you weren't born here, you're not allowed to criticize it. And I fundamentally reject that hypothesis. I think if you were born in Australia, you can't say anything. You're not allowed to say anything because you did nothing to earn it. What did you do? You came out of a vagina and it was yours? You! I went country shopping and I looked around and this offered me a good value for money and I picked it because Julia Gillard was Prime Minister and I was like, that's cool, there's a woman, she's an atheist, she's a moderate, she's got cool policies, I'm going to come to this country and it's going to be awesome, my daughter's going to have a cool role model. And then I got here and there was Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull, Scott Morrison. That's catfishing! You catfished me! There's a part of you as a comedian that just likes annoying people. That just, people go, and you're like, that feels good. But no, in terms of politicians, I don't know why we're not more outraged. I do not understand why the average Australian is as relaxed as we are, given how utterly mediocre our political class is. They're all equally, absolutely abhorrent, uncharismatic, untalented, completely lacking in vision, idea, personality. They are mediocrity heaped upon mediocrity, dry humping a desk in Canberra. Comedy is a really good tool for informing audiences about so many things. But the challenge with it is that the end goal of stand-up comedy isn't a conversation, isn't nuance, it isn't to get you to think, it's to get you to laugh. So that's not where I go to for my nuanced understanding of a subject. To develop that, I will do a documentary series for radio. I'm Sami Shah, and sometimes I do stand-up comedy. And sometimes I work as a journalist. The thing I'm trying to do with the discussion around racism is figure out the different perspectives and, more importantly, the different conversations that can be had on one subject. So, yes, I'm brown.
Here we go.
I can hear the bloke who calls into the show saying,
Here's Sammy bringing race into everything. What's your being brown got to do with anything? Just be yourself, mate. Stop making everything about race.
My goal is not to get rid of racism. To think that that's something I'm capable of is really big upping myself. And this is a tall poppy syndrome country, and I am not going to stick my head up above the rest of the poppies. I think I'm understanding it from my own perspective, my own purposes, and I hope in my attempt to understand it and to eradicate it within my life and learn tools to be anti-racist. I am helping others learn those tools as well, but that's, again, it's not my goal. That's why I want to talk about race and racism in Australia, because I think that racism is hurting Australia. Not just minorities or people of color, all of us. And not talking about it doesn't make it go away. We're figuring it out. And figuring it out is ugly, but as long as there is a authentic effort to take other people's voices into account, we might end up at a healthier place than that idea we had before, where it's like, oh, Australia was great before, now it's terrible. It was great for a portion of the people. Now we're trying to make it great for everyone. That's a good thing.
To learn more about how to end racism, visit education.abc.net.au.